Hey, namaste, how are you? So, I want to talk today. I did a really interesting thing called circling yesterday, and it's really amazing, especially since this new year, since 2015, how drastically and quickly everything seems to be shifting. So, what I'm finding is that, like, every person that's coming into my life, that's getting in touch with me, that's contacted me, is actually all aligned with what I feel my integral purpose is, or aspects of myself that I've been holding or that I've been denying over the course of my life. And now that I've made the commitment to myself and made the commitment to express who I am, it's like all the people that are appearing are here to support that. And of course, it goes both ways. So I feel like there's new, you know, business ventures on the horizon, and a lot more work and guidance as far as how I can better express myself and how I can assist others in expressing who they are as well. So I just really wanted to share that. If you're interested in looking up this method called circling, or I think there's a community called Authentic London as well. And this is all really exciting things. Ultimately, it's about us as people being able to express who we are so that we can actually reveal a little bit more clarity about what we're all actually doing here, and maybe why we've chosen to come into this planet at this time. I think many of us are really being forced to express and also expand our own sense of self, and really go beyond thinking outside the box, really going beyond what we may have once thought this reality was, and actually beginning to perceive it anew. So through our own mind, through our own perception, we can begin to see the world in a very different way. And ultimately, this different way, this more harmonious, peaceful, and actually introspective way, is ultimately a creation of paradise, or a creation of heaven on earth, because it's within us all. And that talks about stuff like this in the Bible. It talks about stuff like this in A Course in Miracles, that we're all here actually to create a heaven, and that we're all here really to come and to know who we are and to heal, and then to share that healing. Because yesterday's lesson, or 2 days ago or something, it was like, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. Is that actually our healing is very integral to one another. It's never a separate thing. So this awakening, the more I'm opening myself to it, it's just so exciting. There's so many beautiful, wonderful things for us to create. Beautiful festivals and retreats, and just amazing, diverse forms of community and healing. And I think really letting go of a lot of the old structures and systems is just going to be part and parcel. It's a natural thing, actually. I think sometimes I get inwardly guided to express, don't worry, don't be afraid. Try not to get, and I speak it for myself really, try not to get too far ahead of myself. Try not to go too far ahead, because often I get stuck. I start thinking about stuff that it's not relevant right now. So just being present right now, and knowing that as everything unfolds, everything you need will always appear, and everything will kind of show you where to go, or what to do. And just to be really attuned to that creativity, to that love, to this like infinite expanding mind, that you can really ultimately completely create who you want to be, create the life that you've come here to live. And I'll just add, so today's lesson from A Course in Miracles is I will accept atonement. And right in the first paragraph of the lesson, it talks about what is choice except uncertainty of what we are. So in A Course in Miracles, it really, I'm sort of continuously blown away at the shifts, and also the like mind-bending expansion, and when you're coming from a different mindset, how radical some of these thoughts are, because it completely disregards the world. It's like the world's messed up. The world's, we're completely confused. We're completely in chaos. And in that world, you're like, oh, there's infinite choices. There's all these things to do. But when it really comes to healing, when it really comes to salvation, or kind of these liberation and freedom, one choice. Do you want to be in alignment or not? Do you want to be in love or not? So if you don't want to be in love, if you don't want alignment, if you don't want to be free, if you want to stay trapped in the illusion of the world, then that's the only choice. And ultimately then, once you've made your choice of, I want to be in alignment, I want to heal, I want to feel love, I want to feel spirit, I want guidance, I want harmony, and I want peace. Once you make these choices for yourself, you're on your way. So you're building your bridge to heaven, or you're building your bridge to paradise. And it might not appear that way. There are times, definitely, I think, when we're shifting, or things feel really actually a bit unsettling in our own physical body, is because we're actually creating new physical bodies all the time. We're regenerating ourselves. So when we go through those shifts, we're often forced to face those old belief systems, or we're forced to actually see what we've been holding: hatred, shame, guilt, fear, all these sort of mixed up emotions and energy flows that we've actually created ourselves for whatever purpose, to experience all of the variety and spectrum of a world of contrast, or a world of opposition, that material world that we're all kind of like projecting outward, that we've chosen to experience. But ultimately, we're so much more than that. We're like part of it all, and we are real divine creators. So now is the time just to really honor that within yourself, to dig deep, to connect to your own intrinsic power, your inner voice, your creativity, all of these aspects that are really our inner world. This is part of that kind of idea of creation of heaven. Is actually what we're doing is going really deeply within. So we're really grounding that energy. We're sort of rooting our energy and mind down into the body, so that we can be full expressions of divine creative energy. And so everything that we do, everywhere that we go, every interaction that we have, is all part of this divine creation. And so the more of us who choose to align, the more of us who kind of feel this yearning to come into our own alignment, then of course, naturally, the more harmonious our communities will be, the more innovative they'll be, and the more, again, we'll naturally start to find organic and make sense. Everything will make real perfect sense as far as how do we redefine our education system. All the answers are already out there as well. That's the amazing thing. Everyone's already got the vision of how are we going to create a new education model, or how are we going to restructure a sense of government, or a sense of kind of leadership that really makes sense for the whole. And I mean, it could be as simple as the new leaders just care about people, and are in the light, and are clear, and are problem solvers, are healthy and open individuals, rather than, I see it as well, we gotta love one another. And there's people in the world who are managing things, there's people in teaching roles, there's people in leaderships roles who are actually just in a lot of pain, because they're so hidden in layers of conditioning, which is, if any of us have kind of come through a lot of healing work, through kind of peeling back, or kind of just shedding those conditions, we understand that they can be multidimensional, and there's like a lot of kind of illusory kind of darkness that veils that light from within us. So being patient with ourselves, but of course being patient with everybody. There's no judgment, there's no one person's okay and the other is not, or like, oh, we're a little aware bubble and other people are not. Everyone is totally perfect. Everyone is going about their journey in their way that's perfect for them. Okay, so this is really just for the people who just know, for whatever reason, we're all coming together and we're able to communicate. And I know I've spent a lot of time withdrawn and kind of retreat and moving through this planet with a little bit of like, I don't know what's happening and I don't know what I'm meant to do, but just following that inner guidance. And now I know that the more you kind of commit to going in, and the more you commit and kind of love that inner voice and say, it's okay, I'm gonna let you come forward now. Actually, it comes forward in every aspect of your life. So you're able to communicate more harmoniously in relationships and, of course, resolve problems. You're able to take care of your body and feel nice and light inside of your body. You naturally make choices that serve you. Why? Because there is no choice ultimately. Because your guidance system is already rooted in that one fundamental choice, that I am of the whole. That every individual, myself included, we are all complete beings. We're totally whole and divine. There's nothing to fix and there's nothing wrong. Whatever we choose is perfect for us. And it's just, for me anyway, now there's a sense of coming together or meeting of like minds, or I could also say sort of meeting my tribe or meeting my extended family for this lifetime. People that I relate to, people that I feel that I can communicate with authentically without being judged or without being attacked or snapped at. And of course, that's part of my own cleansing, is that I've had to let go of my own attack thoughts against what I created, the external reality. So if a choice that I relinquish any negative thinking, or I let go of any attack thoughts either toward myself or the other, because there's no separation actually, that then I can step in and I can really, really feel the evolution and the expansion of my own creation. So now I see that there's like amazing opportunities just sort of knocking on my email or knocking on my door, I guess. So people kind of come flooding in, even today. So this is just when I let go completely of control, let people come to me when they want to, and then not. So I started to have a really busy day today, and I almost felt a bit anxious about it. And then I had an early morning cancellation, and then I had another cancellation, which to me worked out really well, because I don't really like rushing around for the day. And of course I feel like I want to be open and I want to be available to serve people and to work with people. But at the same time, I kind of get a sense of where my limits are and how much I can. And to be fair, if I hadn't had a cancellation, I wouldn't have been able to make this vlog. So I feel like I really wanted to share this with you, because I watched another installment of Ascension Pioneers, and she just like, you know, and I know from my old paradigm that like she's out there and she speaks in a different lingo and all that kind of stuff, but I love it. It reassures me so much. Like, I so resonate with the stuff that she talks about us just like literally like breaking free, really paying attention to any little bits of our mind that kind of limit us, talking about being stuck or being blocked, or like, oh well, I don't have this, or I can't do that. Like literally being done with all that kind of language, just simply aligning yourself with your divine essence, feeling your imagination come to the fore and allowing those images, those thoughts, that frequency to really come up. The more you get in touch with your inner world, ultimately that's what you're bringing up for creation. So if you want to create like a paradise, if you want to see yourself on a tropical island, if you want to see yourself with a family, it really is in you. And it's so Neville talks about the impression, or like a kind of mystical fusion. So you fuse your kind of conscious, outwardly affiliated or associated mindset, and you fuse it with the kind of like inner desires and inner feelings. So as you fuse that, you then operate from that feeling. So you kind of already assume the role and the responsibility of that inner world. And that's part of, for my reality, doing the vlogs and starting to talk more, because my current sort of physical reality, I can acknowledge, is something that I created from the past thoughts. So as I'm present in this current reality, I'm also aware of what am I creating for the future. So these are, you know, creating time in my life to make vlogs and open myself up to coaching and to work with different people doing circling and doing different kind of methods and techniques that helps us to be more present is all part of the new model or the new creation that I know that I'm creating. And continuously permissioning myself to let go of the doubt, or to pay attention to where I might be holding back in my life, or how I feel limited, or whenever they arise, just being with kind of like old paradigm stuff, and also being willing to be like, you know what, I'm just not going to pay attention to that. Or you know, a couple of days ago, it was pretty heavy. I felt pretty heavy in my body, and I was having some old money worry stuff come up, and just sitting with it and being aware of it. And I had little moments of like, you know, being like, I totally accept you. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I just don't need that anymore. I don't feel the need to think that way anymore. And instead, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to let myself really know what I'm creating, and that ultimately this is an illusion. This is, maybe I'm testing myself. Maybe you know, I'll see all these bills have just gone out, and I intentionally checked the bank balance at that time so that all this fear came up. Oh no, what if you don't have, so I can really see it clearly. And from this kind of broader, more open perspective, I can just look at it and be like, it's no big deal, because I know all the abundance that's coming in. I know that everything, or a whole lot of stuff in my reality is really kind of changing and shifting around. And a lot of times I recognize that these old paradigms or these old sensations actually come up to really show themselves. And so that I understand, oh look, that's like a different type of person that I used to be, or that's an energy frequency that I created once for my own journey. And obviously all of us have journeys that cross over. I know I saw a Facebook post by a really beautiful woman that I met at Awesomeness Fest, and talking about her life in her 20s and losing her dad and going through lots of drug and alcohol abuse. And my God, I just think so many of us coming into our 30s and or now in our 30s, early 30s and beyond, really, is that we spent a whole decade in our 20s just numbing ourselves, because, you know, we got filtered into an academic system which basically tells you there's one, or, you know, this is what you want to do, this is how you want to fit in, and you want to make sure you get a good job, or else, you know, or else you're going to end up in the street, or else you're going to end up, you know, whatever stigmas we put or dogmas we kind of put in our mind about what will happen to us if we don't step in line, if we don't do what we're told. So what happens with self-denial? We numb the reality, because it's like you don't know how else to cope. Drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, and things that actually perpetuate and create a lot of pain within us. But again, what you know, when you can be a little bit more detached, what a beautiful way to teach ourselves lessons, you know? Like, get really into the darkness, like get really into that feeling of self-denial, and then beautifully, even within our darkest depths, we have this voice, or this light, or these colors that come from within us to just show us that there's so much more, to show us that there is a never-ending depth to our existence. There is a never-ending expansive ride that we're going on. And I think the point is that these highs, like the feeling good and the feeling light and all that kind of stuff, wouldn't be as good if we hadn't gone through all the crap, you know? Like, I enjoy feeling this way because I explored feeling another way. You know, for some people, they might go on this like hardcore yoga journey and you know, be all detoxed and whatever for like a month or 3 months. And then they're like, yeah, whatever, it's okay, I'm going to go back to my corporate job and I'm going to make lots of money and I'm going to drink and party and snort coke and it's going to be great. And like, that's the thing is like there's no right or wrong. There's no one right way or wrong way of living. But I do feel that if we really want to transform kind of our overall well-being, or how our society is really functioning, then having an open communication about spirituality and about a broader reality is pretty important. Because from that broader, non-judgmental or neutral reality, everyone can basically kind of do what they want. It's just that when you're rooted in spirit, it just doesn't work to like hurt people, basically, or to step all over people, or to really deeply hurt ourselves. Like, that doesn't serve us from spirit. So ultimately, if we create a spiritual foundation, then everything we do will align from a more expansive and kind of whole feeling. So we can catch each other more easily if we sense that somebody's sort of slipping or falling. We can tweak and change and be flexible around new models or new structures that we're creating. It really honing in that nothing's going to be the same. We're moving forward into a new aspect and a new dimension that we've never gone into before. So this is new. This is an adventure. So this is part of that awakening of remember our innocence, remember our playfulness, remember our joy, so that we can actually create from this place, rather than like, worrying about like, breaking down and revolution, and worrying about fixing everything. Nothing needs fixing. We just want to feel better in ourselves. And the more we all practice feeling better, we're gonna have a lot better chance of actually creating something that we enjoy living in. So, hope you've enjoyed. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace out.
And all to love, all to love, all to love, all to love, all to love.